Dear student, today we shall discuss a very common disease of respiratory system that is known as pneumonia. So pneumonia, first of all, we shall try to define pneumonia. So pneumonia is an acute infection of respiratory tract, especially involving the distal part of the terminal bronchiole. All of you know that the distal part of terminal bronchiole is known as a sinus, and it includes three main segments. We have discussed in the previous class that this is sinus composed of respiratory bronchiole, alveolar duct and alveolar sac. So this part of a respiratory segment is going to involve, and there is acute inflammatory changes seen because of infection by the various pathogen, bacterial infection or viral or fungal infection that are the main etiological agent. So infection is the main cause that involve the respiratory tract distal to the terminal bronchiole. It is known as pneumonia. A very common disease in day-to-day practice. We will be see that the patient generally present with the feature of acute or sudden onset of fever with chills, and it is associated with the respiratory symptom, mainly cough with expectoration, this which may be either mucoid or mucopurulent, and associated with breathlessness. So cough with expectoration with breathlessness, and along with the fever is the main symptom. And if you examine your patient, you will be find that there is tachypnea, meaning by the respiratory rate is going to increase. There is tachycardia, meaning by the heart rate is going to increase, and in the blood there is leukocytosis. So this type of feature, and sometimes your patient may complain with the pleuritic chest pain and a sputum production, which may be mucopurulent as well as blood stained even. So this type of systemic presentation along with the respiratory symptom and sign are mainly the presenting feature of pneumonia. So, and if we go for the radiological or pathological examination, we find there is a consolidation, there is a solidification in the affected part of the lung parenchyma. So this is the very important radiological as well as pathological finding, that is the consolidation in the affected part of the respiratory segment, especially in the lung parenchyma, that include a sinus, which mainly composed of, all of you know, that is the respiratory bronchiole, alveolar duct and alveolar sac. So this part of lung parenchyma is going to acutely inflamed, and that lead to the different type of pathological as well as radiological changes, and which can be present with the clinical feature as you know. So this is the typical some important point regarding pneumonia as a whole. So far the etiopathogenesis is concerned, all of you know that it is a acute infectious condition. So the infection is the main cause, either bacterial or viral or fungal infection is the main cause of pneumonia. So far the pathogenesis is concerned, this etiological agent, the pathogen, enters into the lung parenchyma, especially distal to the terminal bronchiole of the respiratory segment, by different route. It may enters into the lung parenchyma either by the inhalation from the environment, the microbe from the environment can introduce through the inhalation, The second route of infection may be due to the aspiration or ingestion of the infected material, either nasogastric secretion or gastric secretion or nasopharyngeal secretion that which are infected, and if it is accumulated in the anyhow it is introduced into the respiratory segment, it can involve the lung parenchyma and cause acute inflammation in the form of pneumonia. Sometimes the pathogen or etiological agent travel through the hematogenous route from the distant site and go to the lung parenchyma and involve, and that may lead to the pneumonia. And sometimes it may be direct extension of the nearby tissue, nearby anatomical tissue of lung parenchyma, which can directly involve. So in this way, there are different routes through which the pathogen can travel, go to the lung parenchyma, especially distal to the terminal bronchial part of the respiratory segment, and that causes acute inflammatory changes, response, reaction, and that start the onset of pneumonia. There are many predisposing factors that facilitate in the occurrence of pneumonia. So the pathogenesis involve that if the patient consciousness level of the patient is going to depress. So in this condition, the patient is unable to expel out the infected material from the lung parenchyma or from the respiratory tract, and that may lead to the accumulation of the infection or infected material in the lung parenchyma and causing the pneumonia. And that situation occurs especially when the patient is in the unconscious stage or in the coma or in the drunkenness, or if the patient is alcoholic, or it may occur in the patient if it has got cranial or head injury. So in this condition, the patient is unable to expel out the infected material or nasopharyngeal secretion because he is in the depressed level of consciousness, and so there may be chance of pneumonia. Sometimes if the cough reflex is suppressed by any region, that may also associated with the occurrence of pneumonia because the infected material is not expelled out as the cough is going to suppress, and this kind of situation occurs in certain conditions like in old age or in the weakness or due to the malnutrition or due to the kyphoscoliosis when there is a deformity in the chest wall, or severe obstructive pulmonary disease, or sometime in the endotracheal intubation or in the tracheostomy. So in this all situation, the cough reflex is going to suppress, and so the patient is unable to cough out the infected material that is going to accumulate in the respiratory, in the alveoli, in the alveolar sac, and that may initiate pneumonia. Sometimes if the nasopharyngeal nasociliary movement of the respiratory tract is going to inhibited because of certain reason, like in the smoking or in case of COPD or in the infection, the nasociliary movement is going to suppress, so the cough material is not expelled out and it is accumulated in the respiratory tract, especially in the sinus, in the lung parenchyma, and may start occurrence of pneumonia. Sometimes if the alveolar macrophage activity is going to suppress by any region, that may also associated with the occurrence of pneumonia because the phagocytic activity is going to suppress, the infectious agent remain in the lung parenchyma, it is not phagocytosed or not destroyed by the macrophages. So this may lead to the pneumonia, and this situation occurs especially in case of hypoxia or in case of smoking or in case of severe starvation, in anemia, in case of pulmonary edema, or sometime in the respiratory infection. So in this whole all situation, the alveolar macrophage activity is going to suppress, and so there is more chance of pneumonia. Sometimes if there is a obstruction in the respiratory tract, either by the tumor or by the foreign body or by the accumulation of infected accumulation of the mucous material in the respiratory tract lumen, that may also associated with the occurrence of pneumonia, and that situation occurs especially in the severe COPD, when the bronchi are going to narrow or obstructed by the mucous material or by the any tumor or any lesion. So this is also may lead to the pneumonia. Sometimes in case of immunosuppressed patient, especially in the HIV patient or in the elderly or more debilitated patient, or in case of immunosuppressive chemotherapy, so in this situation the immune suppression, there is a immune suppression, and that may be also associated with the pneumonia. So there are many factors, there are many root, there are many factors, direct or indirect factors, that are playing role in the development of pneumonia. So these are the some causes of and etiopathogenesis of pneumonia, the basic mechanism regarding the development of pneumonia. Pneumonia is generally classified on the basis of two grounds. So let us try to understand the classification of pneumonia. So pneumonia can be classified into two bases. On the basis of anatomical region, which part of the lung is going to affected, that is the one basis, that is the anatomical basis, and another basis is on the basis of clinical ground. So anatomically, first of all, we should try to understand the anatomical ground, that in this condition there may be three type of pneumonia. One is known as lobar pneumonia, as it is clear from the name that one part of the lobe or whole lobe of the lung, either one side or both side of the lung is going to affected. So that is known as lobar pneumonia, meaning by the one or two lobe, partial or complete lobe from either side, either right side or lung side, or even both sides of the lung is going to affected, that is known as lobar pneumonia. So lobe is going to affected. If the pneumonia occurs in the lung parenchyma along with the bronchi, especially the terminal bronchiole, along with the lung parenchyma, adjacent lung parenchyma and pleura is going to affected, undergo the inflammation, consolidation, that type of pneumonia is known as bronchopneumonia. So this is another type. And another type of pneumonia is known as interstitial pneumonia, in which there is involvement of interstitial part of the lung parenchyma, which is mostly caused by the viral infection or sometimes atypical bacterial infection. So this is known as interstitial pneumonia. So these are the three types of pneumonia that is given on the basis of anatomical region, meaning by the which part of the lung is going to affected, either the lobar part or the lobular part or the interstitial part. And there are many different causes for the different type of this pneumonia. But in case of clinical practice, the pneumonia is classified on different type. The most important is known as community acquired pneumonia. In the clinical practice, we shall see the cases of pneumonia in the form of community acquired pneumonia, which may be caused by the bacteria. Mainly it is caused by the bacteria, and the bacteria, most common bacteria is known as Streptococcus pneumoniae, the most common causative agent that bacteria lead to the pneumonia. Another gram-positive bacteria like Staphylococcus, which is mostly due to the hematogenous spread, Staphylococcus pneumonia, it is associated with the lung abscess sometime. Sometime it may be associated with the other bacteria like Moraxella or pneumonia may be caused by the certain gram-negative bacteria like Klebsiella, Pseudomonas, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, or E. coli, or even M. catarrhalis. So these are the some gram-negative bacteria that may lead to the pneumonia, especially community-acquired pneumonia. Another bacterium that is known as H. influenzae that may also cause pneumonia, especially in the childhood. So this is another community-acquired type of pneumonia. And another type of that pneumonia can occur in the epidemic way, and that pneumonia is caused by the Legionella bacteria, that is a gram-negative bacilli known as Legionella, and so the disease is also called Legionnaires disease, and this pneumonia occurs in the epidemic way in the aquatic environment. So these are the some common pathogen, bacterial agent especially, that may lead to the community acquired pneumonia. Some of the atypical bacteria like Chlamydia, Mycoplasma, and Legionella species that may lead to the atypical pneumonia because it is caused by the atypical bacteria. And certain viruses also cause pneumonia, especially interstitial pneumonia is caused by the viral infection, and the viral infection like pox virus, chickenpox virus, most common is respiratory syncytial virus, sometimes measles, mumps, rubella virus, or sometimes adenovirus, or sometimes another viral infection that is HIV viral infection that is associated with the opportunistic infection, and that may lead to the infection pneumonia. So these are the some virus. Influenza virus is another cause, and the viral infection is followed by the mostly staphylococcal bacterial infection, and that may initiate severe pneumonia in the affected patient. Most of the viral infection is followed by the bacterial infection, especially staphylococcal infection, and that initiate the pneumonia. But most common virus is respiratory syncytial virus, that is nowadays it is more common. So Streptococcus pneumoniae, the most common bacteria, and respiratory syncytial virus is the most common viral agent that may lead to pneumonia. Another clinical ground of pneumonia, a clinical type of pneumonia that is associated, that is a healthcare associated pneumonia, and another that is known as hospital acquired pneumonia, and ventilator associated pneumonia, that is which is occurs in the immunosuppressive condition, condition, and mostly it is associated with the fungal infection. So fungus is a very important cause of pneumonia, especially in the immunosuppressed patient, especially in the HIV patient. And the most common fungus infection that occurs in the immunosuppressed condition, that is known as pneumocystis pneumonia, pneumocystis caused by the pneumocystis carinii. Another like aspergillosis, candidiasis, mucormycosis, blastomycosis, histoplasmosis. So these are the some fungal agents that may lead to pneumonia. And some of the miscellaneous type of pneumonia that is known as aspergillus pneumonia, hypostatic pneumonia, lipid pneumonia, necrotizing pneumonia, chronic pneumonia. So these are the some rare type of pneumonia that is included in miscellaneous group. So clinically type of pneumonia is mostly community acquired pneumonia, which may be viral, bacterial, or fungal. It may be health care associated pneumonia, it may be hospital acquired pneumonia, it may be ventilator associated pneumonia, it may be pneumonia in the immunosuppressed patient by the different type of fungal infection, and the rare type they are included in the miscellaneous pneumonia like hypostatic lipid pneumonia. So these are the various type of pneumonia we shall see in the day-to-day practice, but the most common is the bacterial pneumonia is more commonly seen in the day-to-day practice. And in this regard, the most important pneumonia is lobar pneumonia. So let us try to understand something about lobar pneumonia. As clear from the name that this pneumonia, in this pneumonia the lower part of the lung parenchyma is going to involve the one part of the lobe or the whole lobe in the one side of the lung or both side of the lung is going to affected by the acute inflammatory or acute infection of lower part of lung parenchyma. So this is known as lobar pneumonia. Lobar pneumonia, again it is mostly caused by the bacterial infection. The bacteria, which bacteria causes pneumonia, we have already known. The gram positive bacteria, gram negative bacteria, they are the main causative agent, but the mostly gram positive cocci like Streptococcus pneumoniae, Staphylococcus, like pneumococcus, these are the main causative agent of lobar pneumonia. This pneumonia pathologically it is characterized by the 4 stages. The pathological changes in the affected lung parenchyma is characterized by the 4 stages. So pneumonia undergo 4 stages for the fully development or the progression of the pneumonia occurs in the 4 stages. The first stage is known as stage of congestion. So this is the acute infectious condition, acute inflammatory condition. So stage of congestion, stage of red hepatization, stage of grey hepatization, and last one is known as resolution. So let us try to understand something changes in the different stages. The stage of congestion is the initial stage, that is the following after the infection by the bacteria, when by any route or by any predisposing factor, when the bacteria lodges in the distal part of the terminal bronchiole, especially in the lower part of the lung parenchyma, that start within 1 to 10 days following after the infection. 1 से 2 दिन के अंदर में ये स्टेज दिखाई देता है, and it is characterized by the whole lung is grossly swollen because of the acute inflammation. The lung is swollen, and if you go for the histopathological examination, you will find that the blood vessels are dilated and congested. There is eosinophilic edematous fluid is present in the alveoli or air space. A few red cell RBC is present, and some of the neutrophils are going to present, but so the vascular as well as the cellular changes of acute inflammation are seen in this stage. So alveoli is filled with the fluid, and this fluid, edematous fluid, contains sometimes bacteria also. So this is the stage of congestion, that is the stage of acute inflammation. All cellular and vascular changes is going to seen in this stage. The second stage is known as red hepatization. As it is clear from the name, that is the affected part of the lung parenchyma, the lobe, is appear like red because of the extravasation of the RBC, and the hepatization because of the consistency. The affected part of the lung has got liver-like consistency. So this stage is known as red hepatization. So grossly, the lung affected lobe appear red, firm, and consolidated. If you cut the section, you will find that it is earless because the fluid is accumulated, and it appears in the red, dry, and granular, and just liver-like consistency is seen. So that is known as hepatization. And in the microscope, you will find that the edematous fluid has got fibrin thread of or strands of the fibrin is seen in this condition. So this is a very important finding in this stage, that the fibrin appear in the affected part in the alveoli. And the fluid contains fibrin, thread of fibrin is seen here. The neutrophil is going to accumulate in large number because of the acute infection, acute inflammation. The RBC start to slightly decrease in number because of the extravasation of the RBC, and the liver, the alveolar septa is less prominent because of the cellular exudation. So cellular cells are going to accumulate in the affected part in the lung parenchyma. So the alveolar septa is less prominent, and because it is overlapped by the fluid as well as the cellular accumulation. So this is known as red hepatization. The second is known as grey hepatization, as it is clear from the name that affected part of the lung or lobe appear firm and heavy. It is dry and granular. Consistency is just again liver-like consistency, dry, granular and grey in appearance. So that is why it is known as grey hepatization. And the most important finding is that in this condition the fibrin strands are more dense and more prominent. फाइब्रिन स्टैंड जो कि रेड हेपेटाइजेशन में शुरू हुआ था, फ्लूइड में एक्यूमुलेशन, वो और प्रोमिनेंट हो जाता है. और सेलुलर इवेंट, द न्यूट्रोफिल स्टार्ट टू डिसअपियर, न्यूट्रोफिल की संख्या घटने लगती है इन दिस कंडीशन एंड दे आर रिप्लेस्ड बाय द मैक्रोफाजेज. सो इन दिस कंडीशन स्टार्ट विद इन 4 to 8 डेज. 1 to 2 डेज में कंजेशन होता है, 2 to 4 डेज में रेड हेपेटाइजेशन होता है और 4 to 8 डेज में ग्रे हेपेटाइजेशन शुरू हो जाता है फॉलोइंग आफ्टर द इन्फेक्शन. एंड देयर इज द सेलुलर एक्जुडेट इज ऑफ्टन सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम द एल्व्यूलर सेप्टा. एल्व्यूलर सेप्टा और सेलुलर एक्जुडेट के बीच में एक गैप बन जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ द fluid become more thickened, more exudative in nature. So there is a formation of exudative material. There is a formation of exudative material in the affected lung parenchyma. In the sinus is filled with the exudative material which is slightly thick, mucoid and or mucopurulent in nature. The cellular event, that the cellular exudate, as you know that the neutrophils are less in number and macrophage is going to appear in this condition. And the last stage is known as resolution stage. In this condition, this stage starts from the 8th to 9th day and completed within 1 to 3 weeks. And if antibiotic is this stage start from the 3rd day, तीसरा दिन से ही शुरू हो जाता है. अगर हम लोग प्रॉपर एंटीबायोटिक देना शुरू कर दें तो रिजोल्यूशन में क्या होता है कि व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन इन द रिजोल्यूशन, दैट ऑल द एक्जुडेटिव मटेरियल स्टार्ट टू डिसअपियर. द फाइब्रिन कंटेंट इज डिजॉल्व बिकॉज ऑफ द एंजाइमेटिक एक्शन. सो फाइब्रिन इज डिजॉल्व, it is less prominent now and the air space is air space is open and there is a restoration of the gaseous exchange is going to seen here because the fluid is going to disappear and air exchange is going to start. So in this condition the शुरू में जो एयरलेस हो गया था एल्वुलाई, अब वो वहाँ पर एयर आ जाएगा, वहाँ पर ही स्टोर हो जाएगा. नॉर्मल आर्किटेक्चर ऑफ द लंग पैरेन्काइमा इज गोइंग टू रीस्टोर हियर. सो the grossly there is the lung in histopathologically the macrophages are very dominant here in the alveolar space and the neutrophil is diminished. The granules are very much fragmented, they are going to disappear. Alveolar capillaries are engorged and the pathogens are very less commonly seen in this condition because this is the healing stage. So in this condition the whole air space is going to open and there the normal architecture of the lung parenchyma is going to restore here because of the enzymatic action and antibiotic therapy. So these are the 4 stages of lung pneumonia. So in this way the pneumonia is going to occurs through the different passing through the different stages and the patient start to in the recovery stage following after the infection, following after the 1 to 2 weeks the patient is going to recover when the proper treatment is going to start and if the immunological status of the patient is okay. So this is the stages of lower pneumonia. Complication, sometimes pneumonia is complicated in the different form, that if it is not treated properly or diagnosed properly, there may be chance of occurrence of complication. So most common complication that is going to seen in case of lower pneumonia, that is the pulmonary fibrosis or organization. So during the process of resolution or healing stage, there is a fibrous septa is going to form and that fibrous septa lead to the in the form of pulmonary fibrosis or this is cicatrization stage, that is the healing stage of acute inflammation. So that may lead to the fibrous changes in the lung parenchyma. The damaged lung parenchyma is replaced by the fibrous tissue, so there is pulmonary fibrosis. Sometimes fluid, serofibrinous fluid is accumulated in the pleura, which is the covering layer of the lung parenchyma. So in the affected side of the lung lobar pneumonia, the pleura has got accumulation of the fluid, and that may lead to the pleural effusion. And if the fibrin content present in the pleura, that may causes thickening, or that may causes adherent to the visceral and parietal pleura. So there is lead to the pleural thickening. अगर फाइब्रिन मटेरियल ज़्यादा हो फ्लूइड के अंदर होगा तो दैट में causes adhesion of both layer of the pleura, parietal as well as visceral layer. So there may be chance of pleural thickening. Sometimes there is accumulation of the pus material, the bacterial, because it is caused by the pus forming bacteria, Staphylococcus and Staphylococcus. We have got pus formation nature. So there may be chance of filling of a pleural cavity with the pus. So that condition is known as empyema. Sometimes the lung parenchyma also undergo necrosis and followed by the formation accumulation of the pus in the lung parenchyma. So that complication is known as lung abscess. And sometimes there may be chance of metastatic abscess, that the infected material can pass and can go to the different site in the other organ, and that may lead to the metastatic infection. Especially heart is going to involve in the form of endocarditis or myocarditis, or even in the brain there may be meningitis, in the brain abscess, there may be purulent arthritis, otitis media. So different location there may be chance of bacteria can go from the lung parenchyma through the hematogenous route and go to the involve the different organ. So this is the complication in the pneumonia. And diagnosis is very simple by the clinical feature. As you know that the patient present with the feature of sudden onset of fever, with chills, with the breathlessness, with the cough, with expectoration, which is mucopurulent in nature. If you put the stethoscope on his chest, there will be field of bronchi and cracks in the chest. If you go for the X-ray examination, you will find there is a consolidated white opaque area in the affected lobe. So there is a consolidation in the radiological finding. If you go for the blood examination, you will find the neutrophilia, leukocytosis. So these are the some findings that on the basis of which you are easily able to diagnose a case of pneumonia. And treatment is very simple because it is caused by the bacteria. So proper antibiotic along with the proper dose and proper schedule, if it is given started in early stage, your patient may be recovered very soon, because the resolution stage is going to hasten by the antibiotic therapy, and the patient again recovered very soon. And the prognosis is again very good because it is etiology is still all